But was there any particular incident that made you sure that you didn't want to work for anyone else, but you want to be your own boss?
When I came back from the US, actually I worked for a bank for 2.5 months. I worked hard. I think my boss kind of promoted me pretty fast. But that was the most pathetic life that I ever experienced, because I have to work within certain kind of rules and regulations and the structures and the corporate cultures and values, all determined by other people. So after that experience, I really confirmed that I cannot work for other people. I need to pursue my own dream.
What drives you in your fish business?
Initially, it's all about interest in keeping the fish, because I like fish when I was young. Later on, it's about survival. You need to survive, you need to break even your company in order to have a great vision. Once you break even the company, suddenly you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that was the time that we actually came up with certain kind of vision. Can we differentiate ourselves from other people? Do we have certain kind of capabilities that is different from the competitors? And those are the things that drive us to do some things that is different from other competitors. So the motivations usually is a creation from within. First, it's about passion for the fish. Later on, it's about survival. Then subsequently, you discover some things that people don't have, and then make the whole running a business so interesting.
Okay. Has anyone been the greatest inspiration in your business?
I think my father and my uncle, they influenced me a lot. Many people say that Qian Hu is a second generation business. I bet the difference. Culture and values, second generation. I incorporated lots of culture and values from my uncle and my father and put it into a Qian Hu culture. But the nature of the business is first generation. Because my father and my uncle, they were pig farmers and we are fish farmers. So the nature of the business is quite different. So I would say that my father and my uncle, they are the most influential people in terms of who I am today.
Okay, Qian Hu has been very successful in the past few years. Can you sum up the reason behind your success in just one word, and why?
Determination. I think we determined to run a business beyond 2 generations. And any of the sensible and responsible CEO must run a business that lasts more than 2 generations. You know why? During your generation, you build a company, you put in good fundamental systems, but you also have a duty to build a succession team. I'm not talking about successor, I'm talking about a succession team that can run a better business than your current team of management. So your duty is beyond that. This is why sometimes when we're talking about thinking big, right? It's thinking beyond your generations. That is big. Not thinking about how big your business can run within the next 5 years. That's not big. Beyond 2 generations is thinking big.
Okay, how would you describe your company's business philosophy?
I try to create a family-like kind of environment. It used to be Yap family, but later on I tried to be more inclusive, to call all my employees Qian Hu family members, regardless of race, religion, surname, nationality. As long as you agree with our values, concur with our culture, you're part of my family members and I will take care of you. So whenever we look at the pay increment, I never refer to the government indications of the what kind of pay increment you should have. I look at the inflation. I always imagine that people working for me more than 20 years must be richer, not poorer. So unless your increment, if they are good, okay, if they are not good, maybe they get fired, must be bigger than the inflations in that particular country. That is more sensible to me. So I guess it's a family-like kind of cultures, treasure loyalty, unity, fight for a common cause, but take care of each other.
Okay. As an entrepreneur yourself, what do you think is the most important trait an entrepreneur should have?
Last time we always talk about passions. Those are the prerequisites. Later on, I think discipline and a sheer sense of responsibility towards other people is some of the attributes that I think entrepreneurs should have. Because I think a leader should put the interests of other people first, the entity, maybe other people first before themselves, in order to create a company that is truly unique, united, and share the wealth together. So beside the passion, definitely, if you hate the things that you do, don't bother doing it. I don't think you're doing it in a very nice manner. But if you have a discipline to do the things day in and day out, do the right things day in, regardless of mood, and a sheer sense of responsibility to other people, putting interests of other people first before yourself, I think you should be okay, pretty okay entrepreneur.
Okay, so let's say a young entrepreneur comes up to you and asks you for advice on how to be successful. What would you say to him?
You cannot begin doing something because you want to be successful. You have to begin doing something because if you don't do that, you'll regret for the rest of your life. With this kind of attitude, then you can actually you can actually go through a period of time where you have setback. Trust me, everybody make mistakes, because through the mistakes, then we have the experiences. From the experiences, if you are smart, you translate those experiences into wisdom, and you become a wise man. So if you think that you are going to be successful, and then the next year you suffer a loss, suffer a big setbacks, I tell you, you withdraw. So I think you must have a sheer sense of this is really what I want to do. If I might be a failure later on, but if I don't try this, if I don't attempt doing it at my age, I will regret for the rest of my life. If you have this kind of attitude, you solve most of the problem. If you think that I want to have the money, I want to be successful, most of the time you fail.
Okay, the market is always changing. Like 1 minute some fishes are in, 1 minute they're out of fashion. So how do you try to stay relevant to the customer's taste?
Listen to the customers, be very diligent in going to different remote countries to discover different new species of fish, so that you can be the first mover when any trends come out. Anyway, I hate trends. Trends comes and trends go down. I think trends is a bonus. Whenever you have a trendy product, it's supposed to be a bonus to your fundamental business model, rather than you rely on trend in order to get rich. If trend doesn't come, you die, But fundamentally, if you are doing a very diversified kind of product offering with a very diverse market, I think you are quite stable. Any trends of certain fish coming in, take it as a bonus, and then try to capitalize on that, but don't rely on that.
Okay, tell us the lowest point you have in the business and how you overcame that crisis.
We had lots of setbacks. When we start, when I was, my family first. When I was in the US in 1989, my second brother called me because due to the heavy downpour of rain, continuously raining for 3 days in 1989, we had this very primitive earthen ponds breeding guppies. So all the waters from the river came into the pond, and it became a big pond. All the guppies washed away. So that was a very big setback for my family. So we tried to attempt to rear a fish called hyphin loach when we started Qian Hu after the flooding incident. What we didn't know was this fish is very susceptible to sudden shocking wave. So while we were building more tanks to contain the fish, we literally killed the fish along the way. We were nearly bankrupt then. And in order to move on, we used this hyphin loach, which is our mascot right now, to remind us the mistakes that we made. We made 3 mistakes. First, we were greedy. We want to be rich overnight. Second, we put all the eggs in one basket. We forgot to diversify. Third, we did not learn enough. We forgot to be a learner. So, armed with those kind of lessons, we try to diversify our portfolios and move Qian Hu to another kind of business model.
What is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
I think the best thing about being yourself is the questions that I want to answer rather than being an entrepreneur. If you're interested to become a lawyer, please do so. If you're interested to become a politician, please do so. But if you say you want to create something out of nothing, if you want to, run a business, okay, then become an entrepreneur. And once you become the entrepreneur, you enjoy the freedom to think, to act, because whatever things you define is from within. It's not, you can change your business model. You can choose what kind of product to sell. You can choose what kind of customers you want. The freedom to think, the freedom to act is something I think some of the entrepreneurs enjoy.
Okay, as a technology partner, how has Canon been supporting you?
We have been using Canon's product for quite some time. All our office equipment, fax machines, photocopy machines, all those, we are using Canon for that.
Okay, so why do you choose Canon?
I think as far as reliability is concerned, Canon is quite good. And I think they are in service industry, and we are also in the service industry. Their service industry is some things that we always benchmark against. Whenever a problem, we ask somebody to come. The responsiveness, the time for them to correct the problems that we have is very prompt. This is very essential and critical, because once you cannot you print out your copies, once you cannot fax over things, it's just difficult, for you to run an international business. So Canon is a good partner in that sense.